Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to talk about the Remember Me process. Okay, let's get started. So we're in the sign-in page. Let's see how it works. First, I'm going to type my email and my password. Now I'm going to press the sign-in button without checking the Remember Me box. I'm set since sign in. Now I'm going to sign out. I'm going to sign in back in. You can see there are no data stored in the input fields. Now I'm going to do it again with the Remember Me. Type my password. Now I check in the Remember Me box and I'm pressing the sign in button. I'm going to sign out. Sign in again. You can see the difference now. Your email address and your password is stored in the fields because you checked the Remember Me box. We can also check it in the cookie editor. I'm going to press the sign in button without checking the Remember Me. I'm going to see the cookie editor. You can see there are no password, no email address stored in here. Now I'm going to do it with Remember Me box checked. Sign in. Then check the cookie editor. You can see your email. My password is stored in the cookies. Now I'll walk you through the coding of Remember Me process in my sign-in system. We'll explore both the front end and back end and see how cookies are used to save or clear login details. Let's begin with the sign-in form in HTML and PHP. This is the sign-in box. We can see two main input fields here, one for email and one for password. And right below, we have the Remember Me checkbox. This is the key part that lets users decide if they want their login details stored. So when this is ticked, the system knows the user wants to be remembered. Here, PHP checks if cookies already exist for email and password. If they do, we assign them to variables. These variables are then displayed inside the input field. So when the user comes back, their email and password automatically appear. That's how the Remember Me works on the front-end design side. Now let's look at the JavaScript function that handles sign-in. First, we grab the values from the form, the email, the password, and the Remember Me checkbox. So here, Remember Me check will be either true or false depending on whether the checkbox is ticked. Next, we create a form data object and create and append three items: E for email, P for password, and R for Remember Me checkbox. Finally, we send all this data using an XML HTTP request to the file sign-in process PHP. If the response is success, we redirect the user to the home page. Otherwise, we display an error message. The JavaScript is responsible for collecting inputs and passing them to the backend, including whether Remember Me was selected. Now let's move to the backend. This is where Remember Me is actually implemented with cookies. First, we receive the three values, email, password, and the Remember Me option. Then we check if the email and password exist in the database. If no match is found, we return an error message. If login is successful, we start a session for the user. Here is the most important part. Remember Me is true. We set two cookies, one for email and one for password. Those cookies are set to last for 1 year. If Remember Me is false, we delete any cookies by setting their time to -1. So this is where the system decides whether to store login details or clear them. Now let's walk through the full flow. The user the, the user enters their email and password. If they tick Remember Me, JavaScript sends through to the backend. The backend validates the credentials. If valid, if valid, it either creates or deletes cookies depending on the Remember Me value. On the next visit, PHP checks those cookies, and if they exist, those fields are fulfilled automatically. The frontend provides the checkbox and sends its value to the backend. The backend sets or clears cookies. PHP then use those data use PHP then uses those cookies to fulfill fields on the future visit. The entire process makes logging much more convenient while still leaving the choice to the user. That's the complete front-end and back-end process of Remember Me in my signing system. Thank you.